welcome to another Flow Free Friday. Today's session is all about your bum. So go ahead and come into a comfortable seated position and grab your blocks. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward and start to focus on your breath. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Breathing in from your belly, into your rib cage, lastly into your chest, and exhale fully through your nose. Allow your breath to flow freely and effortlessly. Choosing to open your eyes or keep your eyes closed, lower your right ear over to your right shoulder. And bring your chin towards your chest and very slowly move your head over to your left. Make your way back through center, all the way over to the other side. And then bring your head back up. And slowly start to roll your shoulders, being sure to move through all four movements of your shoulder blades, protracting as you bring them forward, elevating as you glide them up towards your ears, retracting as they draw towards each other, and depressing as they lower down beyond neutral. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. You can let your hands rest on the top of your shoulders, or come into the single or double bind. Bring your elbows up. Nod your chin towards your chest and just slowly bow forward, keeping your lower back in neutral, and feel the stretch between your shoulder blades. Slowly release, and let's change sides. Left arm underneath your right. Bring in your elbows up to higher than shoulder height if you can, nodding your chin and flexing forward. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades to stretch your muscles. And slowly unwind. Remove any props you may have. And make your way onto your hands and knees. You're walking your knees back so that they're underneath your hips. And you want your wrists to be underneath your shoulders. You can curl your toes under for extra stability, as well as a wonderful stretch in your toes, or you can choose to have the top of your feet on your mat. Starting from a neutral spine, exhaling to round your spine coming into cat pose, and inhaling, lifting your sitting bones up and your chest forward for cow pose. Remembering to move with your breath as much as you can during your practice today. And if you feel the need to take a break at any point in time that you feel tired or you've lost connection with your breath, know that you're free to do so. Start to slowly shift your body forward and back to gently stretch your wrist out. Super important to have flexible and open and strong wrists for a vinyasa practice. I really do love to move around in my cat and cow and stretch my spine out. Particularly love shifting back as I come into cat pose, as the stretch in my lower back is much more significant. Feels amazing. Come back to center and extend your right leg out behind you. And exhale, bring your knee in towards your chest. Inhale to extend your leg out behind you. Really focus on squeezing your glutes, as well as pushing strongly through the sole of your foot as you reach your heart center forward. Again, moving with your breath. Inhaling to extend and exhaling to flex. Pause here and pulse your heel up towards the ceiling 10 times. Really focus on squeezing your glutes and keeping your ribs pulled in. And release. Changing sides. Inhaling to extend your left leg out to the back of your mat. And exhaling, rounding or bringing your knee in towards your chest. If you wanted to get a little bit of core work in here, you could always flex your spine coming into your cat pose as you draw your knee in. Let's do our 10 pulses on the other side. I can already feel my glutes starting to burn. Hold it here, and I'll bring your knee back down onto your mat. Reach your toes away from you and sit back on your heels, coming into extended child's pose. This is a great position to come into if you want to take a break or need to take a break. Reconnect with your breath. Extend your right leg out behind you, bending your right knee and pressing your heel up towards the ceiling, targeting your glutes once again. Remember, I did say this is a glute focus class. Step your right foot to the top of your mat, coming into a low lunge. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. Interlock your fingers, release the index, and exhale, make your way over to your right, just coming into a little bit of a lateral flexion, side bend. Squeezing your inner thighs towards each other. Inhale through center, and exhale, release. Changing sides. Left leg reaches back, flex through your knee, and pulse your leg up towards the ceiling, really squeezing your glutes, or you may even feel your hamstrings join the party. The more the merrier. Step your left foot to the top of your mat, stacking your knee on top of your heel. Inhale to reach up. Interlace your fingers the other way, the way that feels weird for you. And exhale, reach over towards your left. The inhale brings you back through center. And exhale to release. And step forward to the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhale to slowly reverse swan dive all the way up to stand. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Flowing with our chair. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to sit back. You want the weight to be in your heels. You're sending your hips back. And your knees are drawing back as well. So they're stacking, not over, not directly, or not in front of your toes, but just behind your toes. Chest stays lifted. Ribs are pulling in. Inner thigh muscles are drawing towards each other, but they're not touching. Challenge yourself here in your balance by lifting up onto your tiptoes and the balls of your feet as you inhale to reach up. Exhale to lower your heels and sit back. You could choose to speed this up here if you wanted to increase your heart rate and challenge yourself more with your balance. Inhale, reach up and hold it. Reach, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, lower your heels. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Preparing for our sun salutation. Stepping back as you inhale with your right foot, place your knee down, sweep your arms up. And stepping back here into child's pose, or you could always come into downward facing dog. Inhaling into your kneeling plank, shifting forward, exhale, lower into chaturanga. Come all the way down, inhale, cobra pose. Exhale to push yourself back to child's pose or downward facing dog. Your next in-breath brings your right foot to the top of your mat. If it doesn't quite get there, place your hand on the back of your thigh and guide your foot to the front of your mat where you need it. Arms reach up as you inhale. Plant your palms and step forward into your forward bend. Inhale to reverse swan dive up to stand. Exhale, sit back into your chair. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, moving on to our second side. Stepping your left foot way to the back of your mat and just check to make sure that you're still at hip width distance. Remember, you can choose to have your left knee down if you need to, or you can float your knee as I am here. Pushing yourself up and back into downward facing dog or taking extended child's pose. Inhaling forward into a full plank or place your knees down. I do like to mix it up. Exhale to lower into chaturanga. Inhaling, finding cobra pose. Exhaling into your downward facing dog or child's pose. Inhale to step your left foot to the top of your mat. Draw your inner thighs in, reach your arms up. Exhale to step your right foot to the top of your mat. Feet remain at hip width distance. Come all the way up as you inhale to stand, and exhale to sit back into your chair. Let's do one more round to make sure we're really nice and warm for our practice. And feel free to mix this up. Knees can be down and up, or you get to do whatever you want. I'm your guide here. This is your practice, so make it your own. Arms reach up as you inhale, and exhale to step back to down dog or child's pose. Inhaling into your nice high plank, shift forward slightly. The shift forward brings your shoulders over your fingertips and your elbows stack over your wrist. Pressing yourself up into up dog if you wish, and then up and back into downward facing dog. Again, if you step your right foot forward and it doesn't make it there, grab the back of your thigh and guide your foot to the top of your mat. Stepping forward as you exhale into your forward bend. Knees can be bent a little or a lot here. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, chair pose. Again, modifying if your arms are feeling tired. Bending your elbows makes it a little bit easier. Folding as you exhale. And stepping your left foot to the back of your mat. Cowboy surrender arms or goalpost arms. Stepping back into your downward facing dog. Inhaling into your plank pose. Lower into chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Shoulders are back and down. Exhale, pressing up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale brings your left foot to the top of your mat by your left thumb. Draw your arms all the way up. Exhale, fingertips plant and step forward into your forward fold. Inhale to reverse swan dive up to stand. Exhaling as you sit back into chair pose. Inhaling to reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Making sure your feet are at hip width distance. Take a big breath and reach up. Exhale, sit back into chair. Lower your arms to shoulder height, palms are facing down. Lift your heels up. Balancing chair pose. Really squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your glutes. Pull your ribs in. Hold it here. Breathe nice and steady. Lower your heels. Maintain your chair position. And step back with your right foot. Heel nice and high. Reach your fingertips up to the ceiling. Bend in your elbows, palms are facing forward. Let's do 10 lunges here. Inhale as you bend both knees. Exhale, press into your feet, lift up and squeeze your glutes. You want to keep thinking about drawing your inner thighs towards each other. That would help you find stability. Keep your ribs pulling in. Now, if you're taking care of your knees here, you don't have to lunge as deeply as I am here. Your knee doesn't have to touch your mat. It can just come halfway. Once you've done 10 lunges, you're going to hold it at the bottom and pulse for 10. Hold it, squeeze, breathe. Shift your body weight forward, come into toppling tree. And let's do 10 single leg squats. Reach your fingertips back. Pretend as though you're pressing the palms of your hands into a table. Really extend strongly through the sole of your right foot and reach your heart center forward. So think about pushing your foot into the wall behind you as you reach your heart forward. Nice and easy. Hold your toppling tree. Little bit of a bend in your standing leg. Hold it, reach. Find your mat with your toes. Sweep your arms up. High lunge or crescent lunge here. Exhale, plant your hands and step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting forward into plank pose. Knees can be down or up. Lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. You can step or hop to the top of your mat. Feet at hip width distance. Slowly come all the way up to stand. And let's prepare for the second side. Sit back, chair pose. Lift your heels up nice and high. Spread your toes out. If you find that your heels are popping out to the side, really think about rooting down into your big toe mounds. I'm starting to shake a little bit here. Keep breathing deeply. Release your heels down and step back. This time stepping your left foot back. Want to make sure that your foot is parallel and that your knee is stacked over your heel. And off we go. 10 beautiful, lovely lunges. Your back heel is nice and high. Shoulders stay stacked over hips. Ribs are pulling in. Your adductor muscles, your inner thighs are actively drawing towards each other. And you're really squeezing your glutes. Pressing into your feet to drive you back up to your starting position. 10 pulses. Really feeling the burn already. And we're not even halfway through yet. Hold it, shifting forward into your toppling tree. Find your balance, set your focal point so it's a few feet in front of you. And go through your single leg squats. Really squeeze your glutes, pull your ribs in. Push strongly through the sole of your leg behind you as you reach your heart forward. This helps you to maintain your balance and find stability. Whoops. Stepping back into your lunge. Planting your hands and step back, downward dog. Choose to take your vinyasa here or you can rest. Lower into your chaturanga, inhaling into up dog or cobra, exhaling downward facing dog. Take an inhale here and a big exhale. And now slowly make your way to the top of your mat. And reverse swan dive all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to heart. I want you to heel to your feet so that your big toes touch and there's a little bit of space between your heels. Set your blocks up on either side of your mat. They might need to either be at the corner or just a little bit closer on your mat. Take an inhale. You're moving your hands a little bit further away from your chest, but your thumbs are still in line with your heart center. Exhale, sit back into your chair, drawing your hips and your knees back. Press your palms into each other. Feel your shoulder girdle muscles activate. You want your wrists to stay in line with your elbows, creating a triangular shape here. Take an inhale and exhale, start to twist over to your right. Really focus on squeezing your abdominals to help you with your rotation, your oblique muscles, which are on either side of your torso. Top and bottom. They work opposite each other, like visualize an X from the top part of your rib over to the opposite hip, if you will. Step your left foot all the way over to the right side of your mat. Lift your chest. And we're going into a curtsy lunge. 10 lunges. You're squeezing your thighs. Same cues as before. Super strong legs. Glutes are super active here. Inner thighs, adductor muscles drawing in. Keep pressing your palms into each other. Keep your chest lifted. Ribs pulling in. Inhaling as you bend your knees and exhaling to press yourself up to stand. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. 10 pulses here. Yep, feeling the burn. It's a good burn. Slowly shift your body weight forward. Find warrior 3. From here, you're taking your block, your left hand to grab your block, and place the block down so that your wrist is stacked underneath your left shoulder. Start to open up your chest to the inside, if you will, of your right thigh. Revolved, balancing half moon. Hello, Miko. Keep holding it. Slowly, slowly. Place your left foot down. Sweep your arms up. Find your lunge. And exhale. Step forward. Chair pose. Inhale all the way up. Getting ready for a chair pose on the second side. Sitting back. Feet, heel toe them back to center. Toes touch, bit of space between your heels, pressing your palms strongly into each other. Drawing your inner thighs strongly in, squeeze your glutes. Getting ready to twist over to our left side. Take a big breath in, exhale, start to twist. Be mindful of your knees. When you start to come into rotation, there's a tendency to rotate into your hips, but you want to isolate this to your torso, your rib cage. So if you find that your right knee is shifting past your left knee here, think about drawing your right butt cheek over towards the left, and that would help you to correct that. Shift your weight into your left foot and step your right foot over to the opposite side of your mat. Lift your chest up, and let's do the curtsy lunges on the other side. Now that you have an idea of where you're going, take your time with your lunges. I'm moving a little bit faster here. I'm really feeling this burn. Adjust as you need to so you can maintain stability. Remember, you've got 10 pulses after your 10 lunges. Here we go. Slowly shift forward into your warrior 3 with your hands at your heart. Reach for your block. Place your right hand firmly on your block. Extend strongly through your right leg and start to open up your chest to the inside of your... Did I say right leg? Whoops. Extend through your... Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Turn your chest to the inside of your left thigh. Take your time here. Slowly make your way back to center. Find your mat with your toes. Move your props out of the side. That's a great excuse to get a little extra break there. And step back, downward facing dog. This is a great opportunity to rest or take a sip of water if you need it, and have it handy. Going through your vinyasa, inhaling into plank, exhaling into chaturanga, inhaling into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we meet up in downward facing dog. You can take a couple of breaths in here just to center yourself once again and reconnect with your breath. And slowly make your way to the top of your mat. Feet are at hip width. Reach your arms up and sit back, chair pose. I want to feel as though you're squeezing your palms into a giant beach ball. And if that is really if your arms are really feeling tired, you can choose to bend your elbows and bring your arms out to the side of you, or bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight, float your right foot. Pause here. Step to the back of your mat. Spin your right heel around and down. Find warrior 2. Left fingertips are reaching forward, right fingertips are reaching back. Left knee stacked over left heel. Ribs are in. Nice long spine. Reverse your triangle. So you're slowly straightening out your left knee, but keeping a teeny tiny bend, and really think about drawing your kneecaps up here. Inner thighs are drawing gently in towards each other. Outer edges of your feet are planted. shifting into balancing half moon. Place your block, upper left hand corner, stack your shoulder over your wrist, right hand on your hip. Find your balance here and now pulse your leg up. So we're really targeting the side of our bump, the glute med and glute min. Really, really, really squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze as hard as you can here. Whose idea was this? I have to say that after discovering that my glute muscles weren't firing as they should, I kind of had like a lazy butt cheek, if you will. I really become quite obsessed even with working my glutes to strengthen them. It's amazing the stability that one can find in your balancing postures when you have strong glutes. All makes up part of your core. Go through your vinyasa and step to the top of your mat. Take the time to set your block up for the other side. Find your chair pose. Feet are at hip width distance. You're pressing your palms into each other. Keeping your thumbs away from your chest, but in line with your sternum, the middle of your chest. Getting ready to shift your weight, this time into your right foot. Lift your left heel up. Really feeling the burn here. Step back, spin your heel around and down. Heel to heel alignment here. If you prefer, you can have the heel of your front foot lining up with the arch of your back foot. Think about wrapping your thighs, rolling your inner thighs out. Sitting bones they're not sticking out, so your spine is in neutral. Really strong warrior two. And preparing to reverse your triangle. Both legs are straight. Your left hand is lightly resting on your left leg. We're not pressing into the left leg. Reaching your right fingertips up. Right kneecap is lifting up. Transitioning into our balancing half moon, passing through your warrior two. Stacking your wrists underneath your shoulder. And off we go. Really, really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You guys know that song, Hurt So Good? Hurt so good. This is one of those feelings. It really, really burns, but it kind of feels good at the same time. Slowly lower your foot down. Find your warrior two, reverse it. And cartwheel your hands down. Step back as you exhale into your downward facing dog. Choosing to rest here or flow, shifting forward into your plank. Knees can come down or they stay off your mat. I would suggest keeping your knees down if you find it difficult to maintain a nice neutral spine with your knees off. Pressing up and back into downward facing dog. Make your way to the top of your mat, moving your props out of the way. Inhale, rise up, lift your heels up, nice and high, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Bring your arms down to shoulder height, palms facing down, and slowly as you can, bend your knees. Keep lifting your heels up as high as you can. Slowly, 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 slowly. Pause here. Come all the way down and very carefully, you're sitting on your heels, slowly lower with control all the way down onto your mat. Lift your feet up, preparing for boat pose or Navasana. You can keep your knees bent and keep your heels in line with your knees. Inhale as you lower. Arms sweep up above your head. Legs come wide. Exhale, come all the way up and squeeze. Really, really reach through your toes as you come into the straddle and reach through your fingers. Really reach. It's almost like you're making, snow angels or maybe sand angels since we're here in the tropics in Barbados. But you get the idea. Think of a star shape. Inhaling as you lower, exhaling to power up, squeeze. Starting to struggle here. Coming back up, hold it, hold it, hold it. I'm gonna try to extend my legs fully. My quads are not cooperating with me. Okay. Barely made it. And relax. Good. Bringing the soles of your feet together, holding on to just above your ankles. Taking a big breath in to lift your chest up and exhale, hinging at your hips. You want your feet to be relatively close to your groin. You can choose to use your elbows to help push your knees down closer to the floor. After you hold that for a couple of breaths, tuck your chin and just round your spine. Allow yourself to just melt here. Breathe deeply and breathe fully. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to the end of our practice. So grab one of your yoga blocks and place it between your thighs. And the minute you place it there, squeeze into the block. You want your heels to be able to just lightly brush the back of your heel with your index finger. You're going to press into your feet to lift your hips up. Really, really squeeze. So drive your hips up. The more you squeeze your glutes here, the more extension you will get through your hips. And you're squeezing into your yoga block at the same time. Make sure that you keep the full sole of your foot on your mat, not rolling out to the outer edges, but really think about pressing into your big toe mounds. Extend your right leg and squeeze into your block. Hips are still lifted. Good. Change sides. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Press into your supporting foot here that's on your mat, in this case your right foot. And release. Remove the block if you can. And place it off to the side. So I'm going to borrow a little bit here from Pilates and come into shoulder bridge variation. So your hips remain lifted. You're going to lift one leg up and lower it. Now the leg doesn't have to lower any further than the height of your opposite knee. It can lower in line with it. What you want to be really mindful of here is not allowing your pelvis, your hips to dip or drop. You want to maintain a level pelvis all the way through. Once you've done 10 reps, you're going to keep your leg extended up to the ceiling and lift and lower your hips for 10. This is really going to finish off our glutes. Press strongly into your supporting foot. Squeeze your glutes to drive the heel of your extended leg up to the ceiling. And change sides. Really, really keep squeezing. And off you go, second side. No break in between. You'll rest your bum back on your mat once you've completed both sides. However, if you felt you needed to take a break, feel free to go ahead and do so. Now for the pulses. Really push into your foot. Drive the heel up to the ceiling. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release your hips down to the mat. Draw both knees in. Release your left foot to the floor, bend through your right knee, turn out your hip and place your right ankle on the top of your left thigh. Interlace your fingers on the back of your left thigh, draw your knees into your chest. And as you're drawing your knees into your chest, think about reaching your sitting bones away from your ribs. Your front ribs. So this will help give you a much deeper stretch. So your knees are drawing in, Sitting bones are reaching away from you towards the mat, or the top of your mat. When you're ready, change sides. You want to keep your ankle of your left foot flexed here. You can relax the right, just to take care of your knee. Remember, you're drawing your knees in and you're reaching your sitting bones away. So you will feel, so just visualize where your sitting bones are, and you want them to point down towards the front of your mat. Good. Come on up into a seated position. So after all that work we did, we want to stretch out our glutes a bit more here. So we're coming into cow face. So your left leg is going to be underneath and your right leg will be on top, stacking knees. You can always choose to sit up on a block. This actually helps to make it, for me, I find it makes it a bit more accessible. Or you can choose to take the block out. If it is difficult for you or for your knees to be able to sit in this position with your both knees bent, you can keep your bottom leg extended and do a half cow face pose, just as I showed you here. So whereas those of you doing the full expression, your left knee will be bent. If you're doing the half cow face, your right leg would be fully extended. I'm getting myself all mixed up. So our right leg is either extended for half cow face or the right knee's bent. Left leg is on top. Take an inhale to lift your heart up and exhale to flex forward. Any amount. So the further forward you can flex without rounding your spine, that is, the more intense the stretch in your outer hip. And you may tend to feel the stretch in the hip of the leg that is on top. One thing to remember is that we tend to feel stretches where we are most tight. So if you're not feeling much of anything here, that's okay. Slowly come up. And now we're going to switch sides. So if you're in a full expression, you're going to pick yourself up and head in the direction of the leg that's on top. Do not move your feet. Pivot on the heel and ball of your foot and spin all the way around and have a seat. If you're in half cow face, just change legs. So whichever leg you had extended would be the one that's bent now, and the one that was bent before would be the leg that's extended. Knees may not be perfectly stacked one on top of the other here. It is not the end of the world. Just make sure that both of your sitting bones are rooted on your mat. Take your inhale and then exhale, hinging at your hips, folding forward. Breathing deeply and breathing fully. This was a pose that I didn't practice very often, but I've grown to quite love it. So slowly unravel yourself. Straighten out your legs and just shake them out a little bit, maybe rub your knees. Slowly roll all the way onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. You can gently rock from side to side, massaging your lower back out. Coming into happy baby, you can choose to use your peace fingers and cap them around your big toe. Wrap them around your big toe and cap off with your thumb, or hold the baby toe side edges of your feet. Keeping your heels as much as you can stacked over your knees as you're pulling your knees down on either side of your torso. The same way you thought about rolling your sitting bones away or towards the front of your mat as you did in your reclined pigeon pose that we did earlier with the figure 4 shape. Same thing here. Pull your knees down, roll your sitting bones away towards the front of the mat. This stretch is incredible. Slowly release. Place your feet down. Going to come into a supine spinal twist. So I want you to shift your hips over to your right so you can lower yourself onto your left hip, extending your left leg, bending your right knee, and bringing it over to your left. Adjusting so you can feel both of your shoulder blades on your mat, and you are going to look in whichever direction feels most comfortable for your neck. And adjust your arms as it suits you. I find it feels nicer for me personally to have my elbows bent. You can support your bent knee on a block or bolster if you happen to have one nearby. Or if you want to make it deeper, you can always use your hand to bring your knee closer to the floor. I just happen to have my blocks in the exact right spot, which is pretty amazing. Changing sides, readjusting so that you're fully on your back, and then shifting your hips once again. This time you're going to be shifting them over to your left so you can lower yourself onto your right hip, and bringing your left knee over to your right, supporting it on your block as needed. You really just want to be breathing nice and easy here. Allow your body to sink into the posture and enjoy the stretch and the twist. And as I always like to say, if there's any other stretch that you may want to do before you head into Shavasana, you can go ahead and do so. Or you can prepare for your Shavasana. Some of you may like to have your Shavasana in a reclined butterfly pose. You can use the blocks to support you at your knees so that you don't overstretch your inner thigh muscles. Or you could do the opposite and have your knees falling in so the soles of your feet would be on the floor and your feet will be as wide as your mat. Or you can extend your legs fully, 1 foot at each corner of your mat. Arms slightly away from your body with your palms facing up. You can choose to be on your side as well or on your stomach, just finding what feels really comfortable for you so you can enjoy your Shavasana. Stay there for as long as you need. I want to thank you again for joining me today as we worked on our glutes, yoga for our butt. I want to thank you so much for sharing your energy with me today and trusting me to guide you through your practice. Be free, be true, be you. Namaste. Thank you so much for watching.